Hello and welcome to this Warcraft replay. It's going to be the second game of this best of two on the map, last Refuge. So, yeah, game one. It was weird. Definitely a really horrible predicament to fall into, because let's look at Tara's perspective here. He was tier 3. Undead players rarely go for an expand because it's rather expensive too. You're tier 3, but your opponent's also tier 3. What's the difference between you and your opponent? Well, your opponent has 3 bases. So when it comes to base racing, it wasn't the most logical option to go for. But then again, I think Infi was just so far ahead at that point that I don't know what Tara could have done. I mean, it takes, in Warcraft 3, it takes a really long time to transition into between like compositions. What could have Tara gone for? I don't know. Let's talk about it after the introductions are done. So Infi spawning in as the teal human player on the bottom left, and Tara the purple undead player on the top right. Death Knight first, as always, and an Archmage first for Infi. So what could have Tara gone for? He went the very standard Destroyer, Statue, Crypt Fiend. He didn't go for a third hero. He stuck with his Lich and Death Knight. He was facing against, you know, all the annoying stuff from the Arcane Sanctums, as well as triple Griffin Aviary. It was like Griffins and Dragonhawks. Dragonhawks can do fairly well against those Destroyers, and Griffins, well, they can do really well against those Crypt Fiends, so yeah. It's a rather weird thing to try to build around. I think like really mass Crypt Fiends would have maybe done well against that kind of comp, because Infi didn't have that many Griffins out, and if the Griffins get webbed, then they're very vulnerable. Froststorm's probably not the best idea. Not only does it, you know, take a long time to prepare, since you need to build a sacrificial pit and then the boneyard, they're really susceptible to shackles, I think. So there's that. I think mass Crypt Fiends would have just been the option there. Otherwise, even more Destroyers. I don't know. Tara didn't have that many units at the end of the game, and I was surprised because he was really struggling to destroy one building. I believe it was the barracks. No, it was the Sanctum actually. It took a real long time. So yeah, Infi realized that and realized his, you know, base advantage, went for a trade and was able to win. So Boots of Quel'Thalas has been picked up for the Archmage. Maybe not that useful. I guess if you want to be optimistic, it can really stack well with the Gloves of Haste, since agility does increase attack speed somewhat, but I actually don't know the exact numbers for the agility to attack speed increase, so let's not talk about that one. Death Coil on a Shadow Priest, but of course Shadow Priest will be able to heal himself up unless a second Death Coil comes, which it did. Well, that's going to be one less healer out for Infi, but Tara needs to be careful with his Death Knight. We did remember, or at least hopefully remember, that the Death Knight was taken down rather early in game 1, and it could have been avoided. Like, TP Scroll was available, or just not being there was available option. So hopefully Tara has learned his lesson. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here. We have the Crypt Fiend opening once again for Tara, but instead of, you know, focusing on harassment, he has gone for the long distance creeping. Unholy Aura has been trained up here, and well, the remainder of the creep camp will be taken out. Infi looking to go for a little bit of harassment, and this would maybe be opportunistic here. I mean, he could go after those acolytes, but the holes of the dead is so close to completion that I don't think it really matters too much, unless you lose, like, well, I guess at this point you wouldn't actually cancel the tier 2, just like despite losing all those acolytes. So yeah, there is that. It's going to be rather annoying, but most likely will not happen. Once again, coming down for Infi will be an expansion for him. Skeleton will be able to spot that, and I mean, it's to be expected. Like, there's no way Infi will not take an expand in this kind of map. I think people say that Last Refuge is more favorable for undead. Honestly, like, other than the obvious, I have no idea why. Maybe it was Ancient Isles that people said that for. Yeah, I think it was Ancient Isles instead of Last Refuge. Maybe been both. I don't know. Like, at this point, I don't play Warcraft anymore. I just commentate it because people want it. I've been playing a couple of StarCraft games, but you know, nothing, not enough to get back into it entirely. I have been feeling like, you know, I'm at my peak again when it comes to StarCraft, but yeah, I'll need to get a higher rank in order to confirm that suspicion. Health potion will be used on the Death Knight. Wow, this is a really big surprise for Infi, and he will take a lot of damage from his Archmage because of that. Obviously the Frost Nova was able to help as well, but anyway, Lich is out for Tara, and that will be tier 2 available. Most likely a Slaughter House completed as well, which it has been completed. Any quick jumps to tier 3? It doesn't look like it just yet. Not enough gold. Actually, pretty far away from that in terms of the gold mark, so we'll have to wait a little longer for that one. But it looks like Tara is saving up. This looks like a pretty strong army for Tara right now. It may not be enough to challenge any expands, I don't think, because we still have a lot of footmen out for Infi, but you know, in terms of defending, I think that these amount of Griffins will do nicely. I'm not sure if, you know, being at your enemy's half of the map is particularly smart, but we shall see. Able to take down a footman, but that's pretty much that. Tara needs to be careful not to lose any Crypt Fiends, because honestly at this point, Crypt Fiends are much more valuable than like one footman. Do we have another Death Coil incoming? Yes, we do. Just depends on which Crypt Fiend wants to get that Death Coil. Level 2 has been gained for the Lich. Better watch out, because there are two ways of denying experience for Tara. Either, you know, healing up with the Death Coil, or just going for the Dark Ritual. A lot of Crypt Fiends, a lot of footmen actually have been taken down, so that's a pretty good boost, because the Death Knight almost at level 4, and he's pretty much caught up with the Archmage in terms of experience. You know, which shouldn't happen, because undead players, or at least Tara right now, has 2 heroes, which means less experience gain. But with all these footmen dying around, a lot of experience is being gained. I'm not going to give credit to those elementals. They don't give that much experience, and plus, like, most of them time out rather than die anyway, since not many people focus them. Tara, he does have a Death Coil in him, but like, he's got 2 red hit point Crypt Fiends out, so which one does he want to go for? Who knows? It's Blacksmith nearly done. We have Burrow actually being researched as well, so that's going to, you know, minimize the amount of Crypt Fiends needed for a Death Coil. Black Citadel is nearly completed as well, so this is looking pretty solid for Infi, not Infi, Tara. But like, as I was saying, this might like completely turn around for Infi. He is also going tier 3 as well. Will be a little later than Tara since he's most likely reached it now, but like Blacksmith is down. We most likely have the Sanctum units coming out as well. There's the first Sanctum, so no double Sanctum. But I guess some human players have not been going for the double Sanctum actually. Like maybe it's more optimal to go for single Sanctum as well as a Blacksmith and potentially go for some workshop units, but we'll see. Tara will be able to save one of his Crypt Fiends. Unfortunately, he did lose one, I believe, so there is that. Nearly level 4 for both the Death Knight and the Archmage. Death Knight will reach it first, so that's pretty good for himself. Stormbolt, and then Death Coil. Pretty much the story of the Mountain King's like life in this series right now. And there goes another footman. Pretty good good number of picks here for Tara, but Infi's placed his towers in pretty good place, so I mean it makes it really hard to siege. I would say it makes it pretty hard to siege. Of course these farms in Arcane Vault could potentially be picked off here, but other than that, those towers are going to be proving rather annoying. Black Citadel has been completed. I believe Destroyer Form is done as well, since this just based on the timings here and like no new statues out, so I'm assuming Destroyer Form is available and possibly will be used either when these statues run out of mana or when Infi chooses to like go for a full engage here, which would be, you know, advised against doing. 48 versus 49, pretty even in terms of supply here, but we can't really see that for Infi just yet. Plus remember that most of the supply of the undead is military, since like all you need is 5 acolytes and 3 ghouls, so it doesn't need that many food being used up here. Meanwhile, a human player, the amount of like peasants depends on the amount of bases you have, and since we have 2, which means, you know, at least 10 peasants, and then, you know, plus the ones that gathering wood. So yeah, not sure how this will go for Infi. Workshop is on the way, so oh, we do have the double Sanctum. Never mind, I didn't see that one there. Otherwise, it was actually placed down later, and I just couldn't see it getting constructed. So it doesn't look like any Griffin Aviary just yet. Workshop could mean a couple of things. It could mean flying machines to deal with those destroyers. Have yet to see those destroyers though. It could mean siege tanks to maybe, you know, go for the base trade again. I don't think it's mortar teams here, because mortar teams might not be the right answer. I mean, it could be an answer, but maybe not the most appropriate answer here. Meat Wagon is moving out. Tara is actually a supply block, but was able to complete a ziggurat, and he will be going over upkeep. Infi will be sticking to 50. Was able to take down a statue at that, so that was pretty good. Ooh, very, very close on the Mountain King. Playing with fate there. Was able to live with like 4 hit points. Holy Light will be able to keep him up, but this is a tough spot to be in for Infi. I mean, I don't see his army. We are gonna have more spellbreakers being trained up here, but we only have 3 spellbreakers. Okay, flat cannons. This is going to be a flying machine route for Infi. He actually gonna go for it. He's gonna go for the meat wagons here. Rather desperate play from him, but anything to do when it comes to delaying the siege as much as possible. Archmage is gonna TP scroll back. One of the 2 meat wagons were taken down. That disease cloud is really annoying. It's damage over time. I don't know how long it lasts. It lasts a very long time, honestly. Oh, there's a sheep there. Could have sworn I saw a holy light on the sheep, but oh well. Yeah, this is rather bad. Oh, we have a couple of knights coming out for Infi, so this is hopefully going to be the tier 3 like surge that we could hopefully see. No animal war trainings, but it's definitely not a necessary upgrade in this situation here. Flying machines, just in case of any destroyers. I mean, flying machines not showing up just yet until now, so or at least they should now since the destroyers are up. But do we have enough flying machines to deal with 2 destroyers? Who knows? That was a very nice Frost Nova, taking down a couple of peasants at once. Okay, we have like 3 flying machines, 4 flying machines out. Is that enough to deal with 2 destroyers here? It could be. I mean, with the help of the Archmage as well as the Elemental. Okay, we're gonna go for a sandwich. We could. We have 2 knights out as well as 4 spellbreakers. This might be enough to push away this attack. Elementals are definitely not helping in this instance, as the destroyers just consume what magical like entity they have and use that as orbs of annihilation, which do like additional damage. It's not chaos damage. I mean, for a long time now I've believed that it was chaos damage, but that is not the case, and looks like all the destroyers were able to take down all the flying machines. Yeah, that is not good. Which of course goes to show, you know, how unreliable flying machines are if they're not like crazily massed, which is why, you know, sometimes I don't particularly like that choice. I would have preferred for a more reliable one. Maybe maybe Rifleman, I don't know. I think it's a rather weird transition if you go to Rifleman anyway, so that's probably not the smartest. Like, flying machines do nothing when it comes to Crypt Fiends and their web. Like, once they're webbed, like, destroyers have free reign over them, as well as those Crypt Fiends as well. This does not look too well for Infi right now, as he's done everything and he can't break this siege. He hasn't lost any heroes, but he sure as hell lost, like, a huge population of peasants. Holy Light will be able to heal up that Mountain King, but level 1, this is such a big deal, because if they're not any higher level, there is no way they can do well, and that is not going to happen anytime soon as GG comes in for Infi. Level 5, level 4 versus a level 3, level 1, level 1. Very nicely played from Tara. It definitely was the game that he wanted to play in game 1, but you know, just wasn't able to. But in this instance, he was able to take the win, and that will be game. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys again in the next series of Group B, which is going to be Tara versus Nicker. Yep, take care.